to make the audience relate to the characters?
Good question.
Yeah.
I don't try specifically to have. I mean, of course, I do know a lot of techniques, and I've studied a lot about using from this part of the spectrum of your character. Like the darkness, the weaknesses.
Yeah. Exactly.
All of these, and then also using obviously from the virtues, all of that. But and I guess to a point, all of that I've internalized, so it's in the back of my head.
Yeah.
However, I don't go out of my way to try to make them appealing as such. I think that probably what I try to do is make them human.
Yeah.
Which means, of course, having flaws, but also having, positive, some kind of positive quality that's going to make them likable to a point. Not necessarily likable, but relatable.
Relatable, yeah.
So I do try that, but mainly I try to picture the character, and then I kind of like see where the actions go. Like if I was this person, if I was this character, where would I go? What would I do in this situation? I put myself in the shoes that way, and I try to see what the reaction would be. And I find myself sometimes with 2 or 3 options. And then I need to see, I explore this sometimes. Okay, if I go down this way, the character decides to, drop his job and pursue his passion. Where does it go? If he does remain, where does it go? That kind of thing.
Yeah. No, that's great, because that goes inside with all the research I've been doing, where I've been looking at certain characters, and like you say, like being able to relate to them with their flaws and things. That's something that's quite important, I think. I was gonna say as well, I'm sorry, these questions might seem really random. I didn't mention that before, because obviously you just like, this is a big question out of nowhere, really. But yeah, no, that's great. I was gonna say, do you think this is important for the audience to relate to the characters? Do you think it's important for the story, or do you think it's just another layer that can be incorporated? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I can hear you now. So you just you've just frozen a little bit.
Sorry, my
No, that's all right. No. Honestly, it's fine. Honestly, it's...
See if I can. Okay, hopefully.
Maybe.
Oh,
sorry, Carlos. Sorry, Carlos. You've only just come back.
Sorry. Let me try to change my connection for a second.
Are you sure? Oh, okay.
Is that okay? Yeah. Is that okay? Sorry.
That's fine. I'm sorry. It's
Okay. Hopefully that should be better. We'll see.
That's all good. Yeah. No. Sorry.
Sorry, please.
Oh no, sorry. I was just say the question. I don't know how much you heard of what I said, but it was just do you think it's important for the audience to relate to the characters, or do you think it's just another another layer that can be put into a story? Do you think?
Okay, well, I do believe it's very important. I think that a lot of products, there's more and more products out there, mainly on media, but also in theater, where it's like, we're going to make a formula. We're going to follow a formula of what the audience wants to see. And then they kind of like, take all these different ingredients and put them together. But if you write a story you want to write, if you want to, if you want to write, it's not a product that's been commissioned that way. I think it's very important that the audience cares for the characters, because as a spectator, as an audience for me, when I'm an audience in theater, media, if I don't care for the characters, I don't care for the story.
Yeah.
And it's happened to me before when I've been watching a movie and I haven't really left the theater, or cinema theater in years probably, but I wanted to, you know what I mean? Where like I completely don't care what happens to any of the characters. It's like they could all get slaughtered, and I wouldn't mind. It's terrible, but that's the point. And when that happens, you realize there's a problem there with the writing.
Yeah, no, definitely. I say a lot of the research I've been finding says it's quite important when it comes to the audience feeling like gratified, and when you were saying about the cinema, when connecting with it, just is more memorable, and it just tends to be more enjoyable, which I think is genuinely the case. So, and then sorry, another part of my dissertation is I'm comparing American writers and English. So I really wanted to get someone else's insight into those two industries kind of thing. Someone who's not from England or America, I think, because then it's more of a, you're not what's the word, bias to like one or the other. Because if I asked English people some questions, they'd just be like, oh yeah, like America, we don't, they're so much better, or the Americans will say the same thing. But I was just wondering what your thoughts were on when comparing like or watching like an American TV show or like an English TV show. It could be a sitcom or a drama or anything. Do you notice any general differences in like the characters in terms of like, do you think the characters, like an English character will always have certain traits and an American one will always have other certain traits? And obviously there's hundreds and thousands of characters, so there are going to be differences, but yeah, just in general, I wanted to know what your thoughts were on that.
Yeah, I think there are. I mean, I think more than talking about the characters. Of course, the characters are what we're talking about, but it's the general style and the general kind of like environment that surrounds these characters, right? So you have an example for me, a clear example of that is The Office. You have the UK office and the American office, and they're very different, and yet they're based on the same characters, the same stock, everything. But then, of course, there's a I'm not sure the word how to pronounce. I know the word idiosyncrasy.
Idiosyncrasy.
There's idiosyncrasies.
Yeah.
Each area, like if we had The Office Spain, I'm sure we will have complete different stories in a way developed from that. And I can see that with lots of shows that I like that maybe they start in the UK. For example, Utopia is one of my favorite shows from Channel 4, and then now they recently released an American version of it, and it's changed quite a lot with the same characters, with the same storyline.
Yeah,
I think that at the end of the day, when you create a show for an audience of a specific country, even if of course that's going to be translated and transferred somewhere else, there's a lot of the culture. There's a lot of the characters. There's you can find certain American types in the American shows, and you can find certain British types in the British shows. And if you watch, there's this, it's called Paper House or Money Heist.
Money Heist, yes.
Yeah, from Paper House in Spanish.
Yeah.
It's a Spanish show, very much following an American formula, obviously. But if you watch it, obviously, for anyone who doesn't know Spaniards or Spain, you watch it and you're like, okay, I understand, I follow because it follows American formulas. However, a lot of the characters and a lot of their decisions and a lot of their dialogues, obviously, are based on the Spanish culture. So I think that helps understanding what's happening, So as far as I'm concerned, I do like both American shows, British shows. I find, generally speaking, that the British have been a bit ahead when it comes to be edgy, when it comes to push the boundaries of characters and stories and things like Shameless. As an example of a sitcom that, yes, Americans did later, and it's great and all you want, but the British one had an extra cringe and an extra edge. And you can apply that to lots of different things, where you see things where you like thinking, oh, this is not an American show, because they allow themselves to do this. They didn't worry about the censorship or or all those all that middle class white Christian audience that calling and criticizing this. They're we'll make a show and see what happens.
As I say, I suppose as well, the the humour element as well is probably quite different between America and England as well. So that's something that might influence a lot of the characters. How like the way they act and things, as well. Yeah.
And I also think I think it's interesting too that obviously as we go on with all of these platforms, Netflix, HBO, etc., etc., and not only that, but that people say we are in the golden era of television. There's more and more and more influence. And I see myself, I teach script writing classes, and I find myself that my students many times are, of course, trying to copy the successful American shows or the successful British shows.
Yeah.
And I tell them, it's okay. I mean, it's okay that you understand, you learn and you copy the idea, maybe as in like the formula. Please do not write a show about John Wayne in Wisconsin. Write a show about Juan Perez in Madrid, because that's what you know, and because you'll be able to really apply our comedy, our sense of comedy, our sense of drama, etc. And I think that's important. But at the same time, you can see that I think more American shows are getting that sarcasm that British have, and the British are getting more of the maybe action formulas that the Americans have. There's more of a blend at the end, I think.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I'm currently watching Gangs of London on Sky Box Office, I think it is. I don't know. Have you seen it? I don't suppose.
No, I haven't seen it.
But the fight scenes in that are very. They're similar to like American fight scenes. It's an English drama. But I say there's a lot of drama in the way that there's a lot of dialogue scenes and things like that. But then the action scenes are very like structured really nicely, and it's similar to a lot of American things you see in America, really. It was really funny as well. You mentioned The Office, because that's one of my case studies in my dissertation. Is I've got focus groups, and I'm getting people to watch an episode from both of them, and then kind of compare the differences and what they all have to think. It's definitely like a really really good comparison to use. I was gonna say that's basically all the questions. I say it was just I didn't want to take up. Yeah, I know. I didn't want to take up lots of your time. But that was great. Thank you really much. I really do appreciate that.